Hey everyone, welcome back and happy Saturday. Guys, it has been a long week and weekend. I sat there last night and I told Jason, I said, I'm gonna go to bed early. And I feel like I was in bed. I watched Family Plan 1 and 2 by like 10:30. And then by 2:45, I was like, good morning. And he's like, absolutely not, go back to bed. So I sat there until 7 before I went to the gym, and he's like, "What is wrong?" Like, I think I'm just like, it's the holidays. We have the mother-in-law in the hospital. We have a lot going on, but we have to get back into some of the Real Housewives of New Jersey. So, yeah. If you guys aren't subscribed, get subscribed. Don't forget to hit that notification bell and smash the like button. Let's go. Awkward. But it's not. It's being fucking tired. And we're allowed to be tired. That's all. All right, guys. So when I was saying getting back into it, when it comes down to the Real Housewives of New Jersey, what we wanted to know about was like, are they going to return at all? That's the biggest question. Will they? I have no idea. So, according to a recent insider leak, even though Teresa and her brother Joe Gorga publicly reconciled before BravoCon, a lot of people are like growing speculation behind the scenes that New Jersey might not actually return at all for season 15. So, the article noted that the timing of the reconciliation right before BravoCon clearly that's going to raise some red flags. And I think that's exactly what it did. But the claim also said if the show's producers, notably Andy Cohen, were truly invested in a comeback, they would have filmed the reconciliation. So the fact that no cameras rolled during a major cash shakeup, importantly, maybe like emotional like moments, giving like what people wanted to see, which actually really, if you think about it, it would have been great for producers. So the fact that they didn't do that, I think it says a lot. I think that makes people think, hey, is this the end? Which it could be. It could be. So an insider also reportedly said it's still possible that it might come back, but it's also possible that it might not come back at all. Wow. No shit. It might come back and it might not come back at all. Can you imagine? There's only two ways to go. It coming back or not coming back. So let's sit here and cite the source that says there's a possibility that it might come back and it might not come back at all. It sounds dumb, in my opinion. So the article also pointed out that the cash shakeup may already be happening behind the scenes, but that would be, for example, casting in the show The Real Housewives of Rhode Island. That might be being tested as a way to kind of siphon some of the New Jersey viewers. And maybe, and this was actually Jason's idea and his view behind it, like maybe that is their way of kind of figuring out if they even need to reboot Jersey or if they just kind of put a pin in it, because that could be true too. But all right, moving on. So let's get down to it. Margaret Josephs, she also in a recent interview at BravoCon 2025, she expressed some skepticism about the authenticity of the reconciliation between Teresa, Joe, and Melissa. And what she said was, while she hopes that the family healing is genuine, especially for the sake of Melissa and Joe, she worries that the reconciliation might be more performative or, I don't know, for publicity than being real. She said, I think things like this have to be done in a therapeutic setting and behind closed doors, not played out in the press. I mean, that could be fair. Okay. She also emphasized distrust in every move that needs to be a public statement. Given the history, she's not convinced that this is coming from a place of real change. Mm. Regarding her own relationship with Teresa, Margaret said that it's too soon for her to sit down publicly with Teresa. And she said some things really have to change. And there are too many things that are in the way. And the way that Louis talked about Margaret's son and also said, I wish him, what did he say? Like the most miserable life or the most suffering life, or it was honestly, it was garbage. It was pathetic. It was pathetic. This is a grown ass man living in a mansion who's wishing ill on somebody who's trying to just do their everyday work. It was pathetic. It was low. It was shit. It was garbage. And it was Louis. So sorry, Louis. Call me out next BravoCon. I don't know what to say to you, man. She clarified that she doesn't wish Teresa any ill will, but she did acknowledge that Teresa has her own struggles and said that she's concerned about what's really going on behind the scenes. All right. Moving on. Since we're talking about the Real Housewives of New Jersey, it was also a purported insider who claimed that Teresa is trying to drive a wedge between Melissa Gorga and Margaret Josephs, and that the end game would be get Margaret off the show if New Jersey returns. So the logic allegedly being, if Teresa and Melissa are tied again and Melissa turns against Margaret, then who Teresa reportedly has issues with is gone, right? Margaret, whose drama with Teresa is longstanding, she'd have no place in the cast. Why wouldn't you? This is so fucking calculated, it's stupid. But the source also warned that this plan might backfire. So Melissa and Margaret reportedly share a real friendship outside of the Real Housewives of New Jersey. So there's like no logical reason for Melissa to betray Margaret just because Teresa asked her to. And I don't think that she would do that anyways. But another red flag was insiders ended up pointing out that if Margaret were to be removed, the show might suffer. They compare Margaret's role to that of like Tamra Judge on the Real Housewives of Orange County, like the villain voice, someone willing to say what needed to be said, a necessary figure to keep the drama and interest alive. So I'm just, oi. Really, at the end of the day, I think my biggest question is, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think they will completely like just, are they going to can the show? Are they not going to can the show? And if they bring back Teresa, Melissa, and Joe, does that mean Margaret has to go based off of what Teresa wants? Because if they didn't give anybody what they wanted, then it would be the same show to begin with, and there would have been no point to put the show on pause. Right? Pop off, guys. Smash the like button, show some love, and we'll see you soon. Love you guys. Bye.